Okay, so you're going to Taiwan. A few things you gotta know. First of all, make sure you know what not to put in your carry-on and what to put in your luggage, just for safety reasons, not to get too much hassle. It's not a cheap plane flight, especially if you don't live in Asia. If you live in America or Europe, it's not going to be that cheap. And well, the food on the plane flight is terrible, but the Asian airlines tend to be slightly better than the Western ones in terms of food. Anyway, so you get to Taiwan. So, I mean, what does Taiwan have to offer? Well, number one, the food. So there's a lot of different kinds of Taiwanese food. I mean, you have everything from the Fujian settlers to the Hakka settlers and their cuisines. You have Aboriginal food. You have all the different cuisines that are brought over from the mainland. And you can definitely find a lot of foods from internationally. I mean, there's European joints, there's some Indian food here, there's Vietnamese food, Thai food. Yeah, and recently Western food's become more vogue, but I mean, honestly, the best food is in the small mom and pop shops and the food stands on the side of the road, and that's where it's at, because not only is the food inexpensive, but it's really good, and they have to do it that way because the market here is extremely competitive. Bubble tea was invented in Taiwan twice actually, and Taiwan's also known for its really good fruit. The agriculture is really good here, so you have all sorts of tropical fruit. And they also put the fruit in something called tuaping or baoping, which is basically a shaved ice dessert where they put fruit and condensed milk and just a lot of sweet stuff. And it actually tastes pretty good. So when you're there, especially on a hot summer day, definitely get some. Okay, well, with all that eating, you definitely need to go to the bathroom, take a shit, and all that. One thing you gotta know about Taiwan is, just like in most of Asia, there's still a lot of squatting toilets. So if you're not used to that, you don't have to get used to that. Occasionally, though, you can find the quote unquote normal kind, the sitting kind. But that's a little more rare. Usually, that's just in people's houses. And also, FYI, a lot of people still wash with a big bucket of water and a smaller bucket to pour it on yourself. So I mean, it really depends. There's some areas that are a lot more traditional, and some areas that are more modern in a sense. Just be aware of that. All right, so you're taking care of that, but you're still stuffed. So you check out some of Taiwan's parks because you gotta walk it off. Basically, Taiwan is extremely urbanized. You have 22, 23 million people on this little island. Only 30% of it is easily inhabitable, aka flat land. The rest of it is mountainous forests and all that. So, in order to make it less depressing, they basically put in a lot of parks because otherwise people wouldn't have places to just take walks and exercise in the morning and all that. And so Taiwan has in a lot of Taiwan, there's a lot of really nice parks. A lot of them are kind of small, but they're good areas to just walk it off and relax. Check it out. Okay, so you already got your grub on, and you walked it off, did what you need to do, and yeah, now the rest of the island is here for you to explore. There's actually a lot to Taiwan. I think you can basically split it into rural and urban, um, and from there you can also go northern and southern because there's definitely a different feel between the two. There's a lot of Weissensinn in the north, and this is characterized best by this Chiang Kai-shek Memorial, which I'm showing you now. Um, Essentially, Chiang Kai-shek was the leader of the Nationalist Party, the Kuomintang, and they lost to the communists, and so they retreated to Taiwan, where they brutally conquered and oppressed the Taiwanese people, and tried to fortify the island, and for whatever reason, thought that they could take back China from this little island. Obviously, it did not happen, has not happened, it will not happen. But yeah, and you see the architecture here is built on a grand scale, kind of reminiscent of imperial palaces and such in mainland China. But I got really mixed feelings about this place because even though I mean they are a huge, they are at least a sizable minority in Taiwan. They haven't really, how do I say, really invested themselves emotionally, spiritually, and economically into this country. They don't see it as their own. Another attraction of Taiwan is the bustling marketplaces, and there's also this thing called Lao Jie, which means old avenue or old lane, and that's usually an area, an older part of the city where they have a lot of traditional shops, a lot of traditional snacks, a lot of good food, and some areas are better than others. In order here, there's Daxi, there's Sanxia, and there's Yingge. This is a little random, but there are a hell of a lot of stray cats and dogs here too. Just to let you know. On here is Taipei 动物园, Taipei Zoo, and speaking of that, Taiwanese wildlife, there's really not that much to it, honestly. I mean, it's a small island, and a lot of the larger, more charismatic species, like the deer and the leopard and the bear and the wild boar, the populations have been reduced by a lot. And since there's been so much urbanization, yeah, you really shouldn't come to Taiwan if you're into safaris and jungle adventures and all that. But I mean, if you go hiking in the mountains and in the jungles, you'll definitely have a chance to see some of Taiwan's native wildlife. But again, there's really not that much to it. So in the old days, when people wanted to get to Taiwan, they usually either landed in Tainan or in the southern area, or they went to this northern port, and one of these places is Danshui. This used to be where a lot of trade and commerce would go on. You know, you can imagine a lot of sailing ships and Chinese junks coming in to trade and all that. And there used to be some battles that the French had here and all that. Anyway, today, Danshui is a really nice area to go shopping for snacks and for souvenirs and all that. I mean, it's just a really nice atmosphere. We're usually out here having a good time, and there's the cool wind from the ocean, and so it's usually not quite as hot here. I believe there is a night market in the Danshui area. Some of the other bigger night markets are like the Shiling Yeshi night market. Sida University used to have a big one nearby, but it got reduced because of people complaining about the noise. And because it's so hot during the day, a lot of times people will go to night markets instead because it's cooler and you can buy a lot of snacks and go shopping. Actually, this night market I just showed, this one was in Jiayi, which is kind of central southern area of Taiwan, but they're all pretty much the same. Now, if you happen to be visiting the southern end of Taiwan, you definitely need to go to Kenting. Kenting is one of the few areas in Taiwan where there are really nice beaches, and here you can also see high bluffs and big cliffs, and it's a really scenic area. But you just gotta watch out because there's not a lot of shade, there's not a lot of trees, so you can get overheated really quickly. When you're down here, though, be sure to check out the Jingguan Resort. It's one of the better hotels in the area, and they provide excellent service, so definitely check that out. If you like the mountains but you don't want to get too far away from civilization, in the north, in Taipei, you can easily get to Ulai, and it's the northernmost Aboriginal settlement, and it's part of the Taiyazu, and over here you can eat some more Aboriginal foods. You can try the Aboriginal millet wine, and it's a really scenic, very beautiful area. If you're in the south, you can definitely go to Alishan. Alishan is one of Taiwan's most famous mountains because it's basically the home to the equivalent of Taiwan's redwood forests, and it's extremely beautiful. I haven't gotten a chance to go document it, but there's an area called Paluka, which is the Taroko Gorge, and it's a really beautiful gorge/canyon. But I don't have any pictures of it, so you just have to look that up. Alright, enough countryside shit. If you like the city, Taiwan's got city for days. I mean, like I said, a lot of the settled areas are extremely urbanized and overpopulated. So if you want city, there's plenty of that. That really tall building in the background, that's Taipei 101, and it was the tallest building in the world for a while, but I think Dubai beat us. Anyway, it's a trade and commerce area, kind of like the Twin Towers, and in that area there's a lot of upscale, shopping districts. So shopping is huge in Taiwan, but you have everything from foreign stores, imported stuff, and you also have local things, and also crappier stuff made in Korea and China, Indonesia. So, I mean, shop wisely, and if you find something, you'll probably find it for a cheaper price. Getting around in Taiwan is not too bad. I mean, if you're gonna drive your own car, the roads are kind of crazy here, and it's more a matter of survival. Trying not to hit anybody, but in terms of buses, taxi cabs, and the MRT and the bullet train, it's all very efficient, very clean. And, you can definitely get around, especially Kaohsiung, Hainan, and Taipei, the capital. They're very easy to get around. You're going to have more difficulty in the countryside, but that's to be expected. And if you happen to be in Taiwan at the right time, definitely check out a local festival or something. This one is Duanwu Festival. A lot of times people will eat zongzi, it's dumplings, and watch the dragon boat races, which is a common thing throughout all of Southeast Asia. I think there are many different stories, but one of the most popular ones is that there was a poet back before the first dynasty, I think, and his name was I think it was Xu Yuan, and he was in the ancient nation of Chu, and the Chu allied with Qing, but he wasn't a fan of that, and he got banished from the kingdom because he was considered a traitor for not agreeing with the king. And later, when the Qing conquered the Chu, he committed suicide by drowning himself in the river. And this was supposedly an event that occurred on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month. And people would drop sticky rice into the water to supposedly feed the fish so that the fish would not eat his body. And that was supposedly the origin of zongzi. But in any case, I think it's believed that this was a very old Asian holiday or festival that later took on different Confucian values or different myths, and got turned into what it is today. And I think you're gonna find that Taiwan is it's a pretty cool place. I mean, there's several different ethnic groups, all have their own history. Taiwan has had a long colonial history, under all different rulers, under all different influences. And there's a lot of the old and the new. There's a lot of old buildings here and there that haven't been torn down yet. There's a lot of old concepts, a lot of old beliefs, a lot of old cultural values. But at the same time, it's an extremely modernized society. So it's a really interesting place. And above all, I mean, it's got that beautiful tropical climate, amazing food, which is out before. So definitely, if you get the chance someday, check it out. Anyway, like a lot of other festivals, there was a shitload of firecrackers. I wasn't gonna make you sit through the whole thing. Firecrackers went on for like half an hour or more, and it was like throughout the day, so that shit was OD. Yeah, so hopefully that gives you a better idea, what to expect and what to look for and what you want to do when you're in Taiwan. And yeah, if you ever go, hope you have a great time. Anyways, enough about the homeland. I'm gonna go grab lunch. Peace.